getting in slightly late, so happy to get some information on where we are from colleague Principal Secretary and from the Siaya County. Good morning again. This is PS Trade Kombudo. I'm logged on. I can't hear anybody, and I just want to make sure that you can hear me as well. Can somebody say something? Thank you.
Yes, good morning. This is Miguel Washington. I can hear you very clearly.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, excellent. So have we started or we've not yet started?
We have not yet started.
Okay, so thank you everybody for making it to this pre-conference meeting on the blue economy as part of the preparations for the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference. We do, with great appreciation, note the participation of both private sector and public sector. And maybe just to share that the county will be taking us through the areas of viability. And we also have the PS for Fisheries, my colleague, who will also then be sharing with us the national level insights insofar as the development of the fisheries sector is concerned. And then hopefully we shall have free-flowing discussions that basically focus on the investment and trade opportunities that are arising within Siaya County. And then hopefully we shall then have a word from the county that then shares with us some logistical information around when potential investors and other players could visit Luanda Kotieno and other landing sites, and some information about the conference, including registration information. So I hope that would be okay. Just wanting to check if Honorable colleague Principal Secretary for Fisheries is on the call, and kindly let us know. Thank you. Okay, so that's silent for now. Do we have Sylvester Kokoth, who is responsible for agriculture from Siaya County online? Can you say something just to let us know that you can hear us?
Thank you so much, and good morning, Banapias. This is Kokoth Sylvester, County Executive Committee member for Agriculture, Livestock and Blue Economy, County Government of Siaya, and I can hear you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kokoth. Felix Osok, who is from the private sector, are you able to hear us, and could you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much, Banapias. This is Felix Osok. I'm the Group CEO of the Aquaculture Consortium, where Vemric Enterprises is an anchor enterprise in the consortium. I'm present, and I look forward to showcase what we do at Siaya County. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Felix Osok. And with much appreciation to all the participants who have also attended, I will suggest that in the interest of time, we would just recognize you in common. And maybe if you raise your hand to speak, you could then introduce yourself. So could I ask Mr. Sylvester Kokoth, could you please take us through what is the investment proposal for Siaya County in the area of blue economy and fisheries, and what distinguishes Siaya County from the other counties and from the other opportunities, and what exactly are the investments that the county has made for which you'd like to interest people to come in to attend the investment conference, and for which you'd also like the private sector to have some more information about. After that, and depending on whether colleague Principal Secretary for Fisheries will have logged on by then, we could then move on to Mr. Osok, who is a current investor through Vemric, and you could share then with us what has been your journey so far, what attracted you towards engaging in the blue economy sector in Siaya County, and what are the opportunities that you see for expansion of your business and the partnerships that you can create with other like-minded people, so that then we are able to use this investment conference to gain more interest from people who want to see opportunities there. So Kokoth, maybe if we start with you, that would be very much appreciated. And my suggestion would be that an overall review of what is the business opportunity for the blue economy, particularly on the fisheries side, would be very much appreciated. My suggestion is that you could go for 10 minutes, and then we could have Felix from the private sector do maybe another 10 or 12 minutes, and then we could go basically into a conversation. At any point, if colleague Principal Secretary for Fisheries logs in, then we will give her an opportunity to intervene. Thank you very much, and over to you, Sylvester.
Thank you so much, Banapias. I'm glad to be part of this conversation, and we look forward to a very fruitful deliberation on identifying and discussing about the opportunities that Siaya County offers in the blue economy space. Let me start by mentioning that Siaya County is found in the western side of Kenya and covers an area of approximately 2,496.1 square kilometers. And a significant portion of the area is occupied by water, including part of Lake Victoria, smaller lakes like Lake Kanyaboli, Lake Bob, and other smaller lakes around Lake Victoria. We also have a number of dams, rivers, and permanent springs. And these are blue economy opportunities. I want to specifically say that about 1,006 square kilometers of the county's area, or the space we call Siaya, is underwater. And this constitutes 40% of the total area that we call Siaya. So Siaya County, number one, is 40. And livelihoods of the people who live in Siaya. There are quite a number of blue economy or opportunities in Siaya. And P.S. I want to observe, even before I observe, I want to mention to the participants that Kokoth Sylvester, speaking here, is also the national chairman of the CECM's caucus on blue economy, which is an institution under the Council of Governors. Then I wanted to mention that we have often confused blue economy opportunities with oceanic opportunities in the Indian Ocean. For quite a long time, whenever somebody mentioned about blue economy, some of us from the lakes in the hinterland or the water bodies in the hinterland of Kenya did not associate with the word blue economy. After getting the proper definition of what blue economy entails, which is economic investments and activities under, in, and on water, it therefore means that any space where we have water bodies, including groundwater, provides us with blue economy opportunities. And I also want to hasten to add that blue economy opportunities or investments are not exclusive to fisheries. Fisheries is only one of the opportunities that the blue economy space offers. And in this meeting, I would have preferred that we also have representation from State Department of Tourism and some representation from transport and some representation from sports, because blue economy space provides a lot of opportunities within those sectors in Siaya and in any other riparian land that touches on Lake Victoria. Coming to fisheries and aquaculture, I want to mention that the blue economy space, and that is the 1,006 square kilometers of water body that I've mentioned, is still virgin. And as our governor keeps reminding us, when we talk about Lake Victoria as a shared resource, shared by the riparian counties of Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Siaya, and Busia, we are always reminded that other counties may be having larger portions of the lake, but Siaya County has the most pristine waters of Lake Victoria. Pristine quality can be justified and confirmed by the fact that we have more than 20 breeding zones within the Lake Victoria space that touches Siaya County. Breeding zones is a clear indication that they offer a good ecological ecosystem for fish and aquatic breeds of animals and plants to grow and thrive. So there are great opportunities for hatcheries in the fisheries sector, and there are great opportunities in Siaya for commercial fish farming through fish cage farming in the lakes of Victoria, Lake Kanyabuli, and Lake Bob. Still talking about fisheries and aquaculture opportunities, I want to mention that there are opportunities for value addition and processing, which is what Vemric Enterprises is doing at Luanda Kutieno. And sometime late last year, I think around late November, we entered into an MOU with Vemric to be the strategic investor that will be operating the Luanda Kutieno mini fish processing facility. He'll be able to tell us more about his vision on what he wants to do there in the next short, medium, and long term, and how we can tap into his vision and work together. Beyond the value addition and processing, we also have opportunities in cold storage and transport. We realize that refrigeration facilities and equipment are still not adequate within the lake. Most of our fisher folks do not get full value for their harvest or for their catch of fish because they are unable to retain the original quality and freshness of the lake, of the fish when they get it from the lake. So investments and investing in the cold storage sector would be critical in making sure that farmers and the other players in the value chain benefit from the freshness of the fish as it gets to the lake. Still, we have opportunities for ornamental fish farming, which we can export as aquarium fish to other counties and even to other countries in Africa and beyond. On the next level of opportunities, I want to go through all the opportunities beyond fisheries and aquaculture. Then I will get down to what we have done or what is our capacity under fisheries and aquaculture. We have opportunities again, number 2, on ecotourism and water sports. And we have very beautiful fronts in Siaya County that touch Lake Victoria and that touch Lake Kanyabuli that are virgin and untapped. Beautiful parcels of land with beautiful hills around with good environment that those in hospitality industry or tourism industry could invest in by establishing beach resorts, lodges, recreational facilities, and even golf courses that touch Lake Victoria or touch Lake Kanyabuli. Under sports, we have opportunities for boat racing, and we could have investors organizing boat racing tournaments and even leisure boating within the lake that would change lives and bring monies to this side of the world. We have cultural and ecotourism areas, including the colonial cells that are found at Mageta Island and some very beautiful sites within the islands that we have in the Siaya side of the lake. Those who've traveled to Egypt would appreciate that one of the most beautiful things that you can experience, or the most memorable experiences that one would have from Cairo, are the floating restaurants within River Nile. I had an opportunity to have dinner in one of those floating restaurants. There are quite a number of them. And Lake Victoria, especially the Siaya side, provides us with a very conducive ecosystem for developing or constructing these floating restaurants where you could have your dinner inside the waters as you move towards Mbita Island, then from Usenge or from Luanda Kutieno or from Asembo Bay or from Wichloom, then enjoy the breeze in the lake and come back to dock at the port or the landing site where you left after an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours, depending on the depth of your pocket. We can also have marine parks within the water bodies that we have, and that provides opportunities for investments and investors to tap into that opportunity.
Okay, thank you so much, Sylvester. With your kind permission,
yes, please.
I would like to ask that we allow you to truncate it there, because
yes,
our colleague Principal Secretary for Fisheries is also online, and
yes,
she is going to be proceeding for another meeting at midday. And I just want you to kindly hold your thoughts. Thank you so much for bringing in the dimension around transport, tourism, and all those other areas which are actually economic sectors within the blue economy. So what I'd like us to do is, with your kind permission and that of everyone else, to now ask the Principal Secretary responsible for blue economy and fisheries, Honorable Betsy Muthoni Njagi, to kindly also then share with us, from her perspective and from the national government, how does she see Kenya as a viable area for investment in the blue economy and fisheries, and what are some of the specific things she and her teams are doing? And then hopefully after that, we'll then be able to come back to the rest of the points that you've not been able to make. Thank you. So, PS, are you there?
Hello, PS, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Most welcome, and thank you so much for making it to this meeting. The floor is yours, and could you share with us what we as a country are doing to advance the development of the blue economy? What are the instruments available at national level, and what does a Siaya investor who wants to get into this sector, how can they collaborate with you? Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, PS, and good morning to everybody. And PS, thank you for organizing this forum. Sylvester, I listened to your points and very well articulated. And I now understand why you are the CC chair for the Blue Economy Caucus. And thank you for the support as always from the county government. So from the perspective of the State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries, from the element of governance and policy making, you know very well that the State Department, through the executive, were able to draft and, of course, finalize and approve the Kenya Fisheries Policy document, which is available in the public domain for us to be able to see how we can be able to tap into the potential of blue economy. Number two, we are developing the aquaculture policy. We are working closely with the county government and the private sector. Number three, we are also in the final stages of developing the blue economy strategy for Kenya for the sector. I will not go into details about what the importance of Lake Victoria and the other inland waters and the Indian Ocean from the perspective of blue economy, but you all know that this resource is God-given, and as a department, we have put measures in place to ensure that we can attract investors. Number one, we can support the fisherfolk in the various sectors. We can be able to diverge into other blue economy activities like clearly what Sylvester has said. So one of the things we have done and completed, awaiting final approvals, is the Lake Victoria Spatial Plan. That was already passed at Cabinet. So we are at the last stages where we can be able to share with now the sector in terms of where somebody can be able to come and invest. The plan, of course, highlights very clearly the areas you can do cage farming, which is very, it's taken a lot of support from various private sectors, especially in big companies like Victory Farms, there's Global Tilapia, and many others who are doing cage farming in the lake. So we have also highlighted areas where somebody can do maritime transport, where we can do tourism, where we can do other activities within the blue economy space, energy, and many other elements. We have also done, we are in the middle stage of doing a marine spatial plan in the Indian Ocean also. So this spatial plan will encompasses all the blue economy activities. This is, we are working very closely with the World Bank and many other partners. That is another element we have done. We have also developed the regulations. We didn't have fisheries regulations. The last regulations that we are using is for 2012, so we were able to have new regulations for fishery sector. Last month, we had a challenge with the aquaculture, but through the support of the CS and the team from the Lake Victoria Aquaculture Forum, we were able to address the challenges and agreed on the way forward. So in a nutshell, from a governance and policy perspective, the sector is well outlined in terms of creating an enabling environment for business. When you look at the second component, which encompasses the infrastructure development, you're aware the department has developed infrastructure in the Siaya, Wandakotieno, which I'm very happy, as Sylvester stated, the governor was able to work with the private sector and were able to visit the place. And you can see the change that it has brought to the sector, and I'm very proud of Siaya County. We have also done one in Sori, in Migori, Mulkoba in Busia. And the plans we have now to do other landing sites, 9 of them, which will encompass all the activities for a landing site, including fish processing, ice making machines, cold storage, and many other components for the BMUs. We are doing 9 in the entire Lake Victoria riparian counties. The same will commence this coming month in March. And of course, myself and the CS and the various governments, we have visited the sites to listen to the fisher folk, to listen to the investors, to listen to the people on the ground. What kind of facility would they wish to have? So the sentiments and the feedback has been shared with us. There'll be a meeting on Monday together with our teams and together with the county government to be able to have a review on the master plan of how the landing sites will be. The government is investing in those landing sites close to 1.5 billion on the same. The second element we are doing from a national government perspective is now to encourage cage culture. Previously, cage farming has been basically for the high end or the people who are not at the lower of the bottom of the pyramid. So we have grouped our fisher folk also into groups, and so that we can be able to support them with cages. We'll support them with the feed and of course the seed to be able to enhance their capacities. The other element that we have invested in is the Kabonyo Kanyagwal, whereby we'll be setting up a hatchery center, which should be producing around 7 million fingerlings per quarter. This will be used, of course, to support the entire region with quality seed at affordable price. And of course, the center will be also a center of excellence whereby our fisher folk can be able, and our communities and the private sector can be able to go and exchange ideas, do capacity building, train our people, bring in new innovations and creativity within the blue economy sector. As Sylvester said, of course, the blue economy is not only fisheries. So we want a center whereby other things can be done, including boat making, maritime work, maritime transport, tourism, and many other elements. You know, like Victoria, we have had a bit of challenges when it comes to issues of upwelling and I came to learn that in other countries, the hyacinth that grows can be used for other, to produce other products. So these are the interventions that we need to use the center for. We don't have any other center in Kenya that does aquaculture. So this will be one of the centers that will bring into perspective. The department is also working with various development partners like FAO, IFAD. We have developed a few concepts and a few ideas on how we can be able to get additional funding. We are working on something for omena value chain. We are working on something for enhanced cage culture and enhanced maritime activities within the blue space. Also, we are working on how we can be able to create a safe and secure environment within our riparian counties by building maritime search and rescue centers, of course, with the main headquarters at Kisumu. We are working on how we can be able to provide both for rescue, of course, provide gears for the fisher folk, provide better boats, fiberglass boats for the fisher folk, and many other components within the blue economy. When it comes now to the second part, the PS on how the opportunities that are available for the private sector. One of the opportunities I can be able to pick out is, of course, the development of supporting infrastructure. Yes, the government is putting resources to ensure the same. But from a private sector, I've visited and I've met various private sector people within the Lake Victoria region, and they have been able to develop infrastructure. Some of them, they have done a very good job. And for us as government, all you need is just to talk to us. We'll be able to support you with the various licenses. We have a team at the region. We have our institution, the Kenya Fisheries Service. We have our research institution, the Kenya Marine and Research Institute. We have offices in Kisumu and within the region. You can be able to visit those offices, and they can be able, from a research and innovation perspective, they can be able to advise and share with you information on how you can be able to have the best and the quality seed and feed for your product. From a licensing perspective, we'll be able to share with you and support you in the process of getting a license, even though it's for permit for export and permit for running a facility. That's one of the interventions we do. The second part, of course, is encouraging the private sector increasing in local participation and investment. Especially in the blue economy sector, the fiscal reforms such as imposition of 10% duty of imported fish has helped promote aquaculture. So as government will continue supporting the private sector in ensuring that we maximize the potential of our sector and not bringing other like imported fish from other countries like the Chinese tilapia. We have people who are doing fish farming, who are doing a lot of products within the fish and aquaculture. The third element, of course, is the various technologies that we can do in aquaculture. And that's why I say the issue of the RAS, the aquaponics, the breeding technologies. That's why we have our research institute that can be able to support in this element. And the center that I mentioned, the Kabonyo, will be part of that to assist the private sector or our fisher folk or the communities to learn more on these other technologies that our institutions have been able to come up with. Of course, through the infrastructure we are developing and the value chains concept we are working on with various partners, we'll be able, of course, to strengthen the fish value addition and, of course, strengthen the marketing element within that. And lastly, what I can mention is on what I mentioned as we started in terms of the policies, legislation, guidelines, and standards that we have been able to develop for the last many years. The sector has been there. This will just assist in creating an enabling environment for the private sector. So, Piers, in conclusion, I would like to say that this conference is good. It's a good opportunity to foster partnership and collaborations in investment. And of course, showcasing Siaya County. I keep saying Siaya County, I'm very proud because of what I saw in Wandakoteno. It's something that we need to emulate, even as government, as we continue developing these facilities, we need to partner with the private sector. We need to handhold our fisher folk, the BMU, to ensure that we move this sector to the next level. So thank you, PS. I hope I've been able to address everything in a few minutes as possible.
Thank you
Hello?
so much, colleague Principal Secretary. Thank you for showing us what national government is doing, both in terms of building partnerships, in terms of the policy direction, in terms of the infrastructure, also in terms of the opportunities around the state agencies that you have and the various tasks that they are doing to ensure that we promote the fisheries value chain. I would now like us I do know that colleague Principal Secretary will probably need to leave by midday. I'm trying to balance maybe having her answer one or two questions before she has to leave. And also the fact that I'd like everybody to listen to an existing private sector investor who is actually based at Wandakoteno. My suggestion would be that let us welcome Felix Osok, who is an investor currently in Siaya in Wandakoteno, to tell us about what he is doing and has been able to do. And once we conclude with his presentation, if we still have colleague Principal Secretary around, the first set of questions will be directed to her so that then she could maybe answer 3 or 4 questions before then she has to leave. And then we will continue with our Q&A for the rest of us. So are we able to mount Felix Osok's presentation?
Yes, even as Felix does the presentation, I would like to highlight something.
Please go ahead.
With me, of course, I'm with my teams. I'm with my technical advisor. She's called Lucy Obungu. And also the director for Blue Economy and Fisheries is called Dr. Davis Makila. So any other question, unfortunately, I had an engagement at 12. I'll answer the questions, but having said that, of course, my team is here. They'll be able to respond also to further questions and give extra support.
Thank you very much, PS. We do note your colleagues are still going to be on the call, and therefore they will be also then able to answer the questions after you leave. And thank you so much. We really look forward to having you at the conference and to having collaboration towards the conference itself. Thank you very much.
Asante.
Okay, Felix, are you now ready?
Yes, thank you so much, Bwana PS Trade, and also thank you so much, PS Fisheries and Blue Economy, and CCM Agriculture Department, that is Siaya County, and everybody else in this room. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you about our investment, that is Vemric Fish Processors, for the fish processing facility, and also Vemric Shafreshi. We also do omena processing at the same location, that is Wandakoteno. So by name, I'm Felix Osok, and I'm gonna share with you a presentation. I don't know whether you're able to see my screen. I'll run through in the interest of time, maybe skip some slides. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Felix, we can see your screen, but you can't see the presentation.
So Felix, we are seeing the whole Gmail inbox,
Okay.
which also includes the attachment. So maybe just open the attachment and then we'll be able to see it, or download it and open.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment. Is this better?
Yeah, that's much better. So maybe if you can just go to slideshow.
Great.
Yeah.
So the picture you see on the first slide, that is the Luanda Kotieno mini fish processing facility that VEMRIC is running. It was handed over to us on the 21st of November 2024. That was last year. The same day, we also had the World Fisheries Day. And I think you all know when it comes to blue economy and aquaculture, I appreciate the clarity that CECM Bwana Kokoth has provided. It covers across. We have, of course, investments. Our concentration is in aquaculture, processing, but we look at the whole value chain. In a nutshell, just introducing to you why this is really key. I think you all know that the world's population is growing pretty fast, faster than we can produce enough food to feed the world. Concentrating on our continent, presently we have a population of 1.3 billion people. This is expected to double by 2030 to 2.6 billion people. You find that we have concentrated on land-based food production systems, while not really concentrated much on the water sources that we have, when we all know that 71% of the earth is covered by water. So it means in order to be able to meet the demand, that is the food demand, especially protein, of the growing population, we have to focus on aquaculture. And aquaculture has been identified as one of the most suitable economic activity that is with regard to food production. And this is one of the reasons why we are concentrating on this bit as our input when it comes to investment in blue economy. So what are the challenges today? And I'm happy that Madam PS has also mentioned quite a number of challenges within the aquaculture and blue economy sector. You all can remember or can recall the economic stimulus program that was introduced by our late president, Mwai Kibaki, that is during the post-election violence, 2008. Remember, this was one of the stimuli to resuscitate the economy, fish farming. A lot of money was invested in this sector. We're talking about over 200 billion Kenya shillings. The key challenges, there are several reports that have captured this, was underinvestment in the sector, that is with regard to infrastructure, technology, insufficient access to quality feeds and seeds. And talking about seed, that is now the fingerling, tilapia fingerlings and fries, of course. There's also the challenge about capacity building, skills development within the value chain. And finally, there were very few off-takers, that is fish processing facilities, to absorb the fish that the farmers are produced. We got in this sector, and over time, a lot of players have done a lot to improve the sector. We ventured into the sector to address the challenges, and that is through an end-to-end ecosystem called the Aquaculture and Blue Economy Consortium, which comprises companies that addresses these challenges. That is from seed production. We have Jumbo Fish Farm, also established along the lake. We have the Anchor facility, which is the main topic of discussion today. That is VEMRIC Fish Processors, that focuses on processing of tilapia, catfish, Nile perch, and also omena. We have two facilities at Luanda Kotieno, thanks to the county government of Siaya for the initiative, and of course through a bid put out an expression of interest to run these facilities. We successfully bid and won the opportunity to run the 2 facilities. We had started with omena processing 5 years ago, and it is interesting, going back to the question of PS trade, Kumbudo, why did we venture into this? Actually, when we started omena processing way back, that is in 2018, there were challenges that we experienced. One of them is actually not driven by profit, but purpose, and that was a social enterprise investment. There was a practice called sex for fish, jaboya, for those who know. And for me, also coming from the Lake Basin, this was something that was happening. Because of the reducing stocks of omena, it was difficult to access this omena. And fisherfolk will take advantage of women who are the majority trading in this value chain. And we got in to help address this, but quickly realized that it needs a lot of investment to cover end to end. That is, how do you do hygienic production of this omena, sustainable harvesting? What do you need to do in order to prevent post-harvest losses? Most of the omena along the lake is sun-dried. So it means the days when there is a lot of rain, there's a lot of omena that goes to waste. So this is what now motivated us to start an omena processing facility in collaboration with the county government of Siaya. And today, Vemrick Shafreshi employees, 92% of the employees are women who do the harvesting, the cleaning, the drying of omena. We've installed a solar dryer, and these are now areas where the investment opportunities, collaboration with Vemrick to, of course, increase the number of, for example, solar dryers, and that will help arrest the post-harvest losses that we experience in omena production. In a nutshell, now looking at the value chain, what are the solutions, and what are the solutions that Vemrick provides? First is technology adoption. We do this through our digital ecosystem that is under development. That is to bring all partners on board. Traceability in the food systems is key. I think you'll all remember 3-4 years ago, if I'm not wrong, KFC had issues where they were sourcing potatoes outside the country. And this was trending, why they were doing so. The simple answer was traceability. Yes, you can source from within, but are you able to tell where that particular product has come from? If you are doing batching, for example, there is an issue. We've supplied fish to one of our partners, Carrefour, for example, and there's a particular batch that has an issue. It is very important in the food value chain to be able to trace back to that particular farmer who are batched, who supplied that fish to us. So there is a digital ecosystem in place to provide traceability, transparency, and efficiency in the value chain, bringing together several actors. This is a work in progress. Recently, we were also visiting beach management units that play a key role when it comes to aggregation, when it comes to safety on the lake, when it comes to statistics, reporting. We all refer to Food and Agricultural Organization when it comes to statistics. Do you ever ask yourself, where do they get their statistics? It's from the national government. The national government gets its statistics when it comes to daily catch of, for example, Nile perch, tilapia, from the county government. The county government gets it from BMUs. How can we ensure the quality of this data when beach management units are actually recording these statistics manually on a sheet of paper, which is delivered to the county? Sometimes it is not delivered. These are challenges that we've met, not been told. Personally, I've been visiting beach management units, Wichlum, Usenge, Misori, Luanda Kotieno. So our investment in this region, in collaboration with the county government of Siaya, we have had a talk on offering training, again, that is in collaboration with Kenya Fisheries Services on the mandate of the BMU, but at the same time, leveraging digital technology such that there is real-time reporting of statistics to the county government, and we can ensure that there is real data that is captured, which will also help in decision making. I think I've talked about this slide, the other enterprises in the value chain that addresses the challenges. We have a feeds company. 70% of production cost in aquaculture is feeds. We have majorly relied on imported feeds. How can we reduce our trade deficit? It means we have to produce locally. I'm happy there are a number of companies that have come up doing feeds production. We are one of them that are producing feeds locally. And there is circularity in this production, whereby all byproducts from the enterprises, fish byproducts, omena byproducts, goes into feeds production. We have a sunflower processing facility where sunflower seed cake goes into feeds production. And this is also supplied to the fish farmers that we work with along the value chain. That's the circularity. Another important issue to address here is if we are going to build a resilient aquaculture ecosystem for productive growth and job employment opportunities, then we can't really look away from working with smallholder farmers. Kenya alone, total food production output in Kenya, 75% of this food is produced by smallholder farmers. Yet there is underinvestment in the smallholder farmers. So what do we do as an investment in this sector? We have training facilities for capacity building of farmers. You can see in that slide, we are at Luanda Kotieno Beach Management Unit, together with actually, those are KCB staff who came for a feasibility study in regard to the collaboration that we have started with KCB to finance part of the value chain, that is VEMRIC, fish processing, and the omena, and as well as capacity building. It's not a huge investment, but we're talking about around 50 million, which is under processing as we speak. We took them around to meet a few beach management units. You can see on the other slide, we have Wichlum meeting with the committee there and discussing the challenges on the ground. So investment in smallholder farmers is key. Madam P.S. mentioned that, and I'm happy that that has been taken up. I think I've been speaking about our entrepreneurial journey. Another thing that is really key is partnerships, business development partnership, both locally, where we've partnered with several universities. One of them is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology in Siaya County. We've also partnered with other local universities, Maseno University, Bukura Technical Agriculture College, Karatina University. That is for research within aquaculture and blue economy, and then how do you disseminate this information? One key example, last year we were hiring a production manager. We shortlisted 4 candidates. 3 had a master's degree, 1 undergraduate, to run our hatchery and also the production at Luanda Kotieno. Unfortunately, many of them had actually not seen the inside of a modern hatchery run on a recirculated aquaculture system. And then you ask yourself, this is the person who is going to be responsible for running the RAS system for quality production of seed. So how do we move? That is a challenge. we realized that the challenge is because there is very little exposure when it comes to students training. There are few facilities in Kenya where students of aquatic sciences can engage. So in the whole value chain, we started by absorbing students from the universities that we collaborate with as interns, and not just the last year students, which is common in Kenya, maybe on your third year or fourth, that is when you get an attachment for 3 months. But we have agreed with universities like Maseno, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University, that they can send their students, that is from the first year to the fourth year, in batches to be based at our facilities, both at Jumbo Fish Farm in Kakamega County, Vemrick, both facilities. And this has happened. As we speak, we have 2 students who are on internship, hands-on training. To just quickly touch on what are our ripple effects, like the CCM had mentioned, I mean, aquaculture and blue economy is not limited to only fish farming. You find that the investments touches on the hospitality industry. It touches on, of course, fish health and welfare. We have a laboratory that we are equipping together with partners. Locally, we're working closely with Kenya Fisheries Service, and internationally, we just had a feasibility trip to Norway in collaboration with the Norwegian Seafood Federation, a couple of companies dealing in equipment sourcing that is within aquaculture. And as we speak, we have about 90 automatic feeders on the waters to Luanda Kotieno. We should receive them around May. We also have modern cages that can accommodate up to 200,000. The PS mentioned the spatial study that has been done, and Luanda Kotieno is actually one of those places that have been identified by Kenya Marine and Research Institute and Kenya Fisheries Service as viable for cage farming. Again, we are investing heavily in this sector. Of course, other ripple effects. At our facility, we've employed electricians, we have plumbers who must be on standby on a day-to-day. Running a fish facility, anytime there's an issue with water, you need to fix it. So you need to have employees full-time to address those issues. It brings about other support industries, you know, technicians, veterinarians, helping with fish health and welfare. This is another sector that actually, I'll say that we've given it very little attention. For example, last year when we had an upwelling around Busia, and farmers lost over 50 tons of their fish. Yes, it's true, research has been done. Part of it is scientific, you know, the nutrient-rich surface of the water coming up, fighting for oxygen. But there are a lot of things that can be mitigated. Farmers started reporting that there's change of water, couple of fish are dying. But because there's limited laboratories in Kenya, I am aware personally that the only huge laboratories present are run by Kenya Fisheries Service, Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu. They stand for safety and quality of fish. They do not have maybe the capacity to train or service small-scale farmers in different regions. And that is the gap that we are now filling in as investors. So we are putting up a fish laboratory where we can, you know, do water testing, more elaborate. Of course, we do pH, ammonia testing during our extension services to the farmers we work with, but a more elaborate laboratory where we can have early warning systems and so on. And this is also an area of investment. We are open for partnership with you.
So Felix, you have maybe just another 2 or 3 minutes to run through the remaining slides so that we can open it up for Q&A, and also so that Honorable Sylvester Kokoth can also share some insights and then also share practical information on the next steps around how we are going to consolidate this conversation in Luanda Kotieno during the investment conference. Continue.
Thank you, Bwana Pierce. So I was actually just winding some of this information. It's about the global shift in development aid. You will concur that agriculture is one of the sectors that is heavily, financed by development partners. We need to now shift into trade partnership. And VEMRIC is, in the front line doing that. This is a picture of one of our visits to farmers in Norway. I just talked about the equipments that we are getting, collaboration, investment. We will, of course, announce that during the International Investment Conference in Shire County, end of March. Other issues that have been mentioned, and I'm glad the PS mentioned how government could play a role, and those are tax reforms that balance revenue generation with incentives for SMEs. She mentioned a very good example where the ministry had to review the fisheries laws to accommodate the issues that were raised by many players within the industry. In conclusion, there are many opportunities for investment. You can just see the figures. Kenya's deficit when it comes to fish stands at 365,000 tons per year. That particular gap is filled by imports from China. Yet we are able to step up and fill that. Omena industry is valued at $200 million. That is just in Kenya alone. Here we need more partners to join hands. You all know about Fishmo, for example. That is also a place that needs a little bit more regulation. We have players today who process fish molds, yet they do not run fish facilities. This is where the government needs to come in with stringent laws and regulations. You need to own a fish processing facility in order to also process fish molds, or else this will be bordering to a lot of environmental and climate issues. The last slide is just about the SDGs that we address, and I think it's clear: zero hunger, good health and well-being, climate action, and many more. I think I'll end there, and I'm here in the event you have any questions to be addressed, and happy to discuss more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felix Osok of VEMRIC, for sharing with us the investor journey of an existing investor. Those of us from the public sector know that new investors listen more to those that are already on the ground than anyone else, and therefore sharing perspectives, including the partnerships that can emerge, investment opportunities, collaboration opportunities. Also, some of the reforms that you mentioned need to be undertaken by GOK. So that is also very much well appreciated. In the interest of time, let us have a Q&A, and this can be directed to ministry responsible for blue economy and fisheries. It can be addressed to trade. It can be addressed to the private sector. It can be addressed also to Honorable Kokoth, who is the CECM for agriculture, livestock, and other areas. Let us open it up. And then, Honorable Kokoth, I think we will now rely on you after maybe about 5 or 6 questions to then also now share with us as we close, which will be the day that we shall have a Blue Economy Dialogue as part of the conference. How are you looking to organize it? For those people who are interested in registering, what should they do? And also for those that are interested in forming partnerships towards the conference, what should they do? So that then we know that during the conference we shall be having very substantive discussions that lead hopefully to even transactions. So let us open it up for Q&A, and they can be directed to anybody. And Sylvester, you shall be coming in next. Thank you very much. I'm advised by Keproba, who are managing this discussion system, that all you need to do is to put your hands up, and then they will unmute you and give you an opportunity to speak. So anybody who wants to say something, just raise your hand through the system. Thank you. Keproba, there's Edwin Ogumbo wanting to say something.
He is unmuted. He can proceed.
Good afternoon, PS. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edwin Ogumbo Odera. I am a development economist from Moi University, but doing a lot of consultancies for the Lake Region Economic Bloc. And especially I would like to bring to the fore the fact that in the Lake Region Economic Bloc, we have a Blue Economy Multi-Agency Technical Committee that has been working on in this particular area. And it's in record that this is the team that was behind the engagement with Gatsby International with regard to the spatial plan of the Lake Victoria. My question is, where is the local community in all this? I'm seeing a scenario where now the private sector and multinationals are coming in without the government having a very clear policy on how the cooperatives are going to come in and get the bit of their sweat out of this engagement. That is one. Number two, I'm looking at a scenario where the agencies that support the government departments should also come up and during this conference, spell out what they are doing, the kind of funding capabilities that the national government has put on them, so that when we look for any other support for community interventions, we'll be able to say this is what we have on the table. And finally, the county governments. Some of these resources that we are looking for in Siaya today are cutting across more than one county government's jurisdiction. How are we collaborating with neighboring counties, especially the riparian counties, to ensure that whatever may come up in Siaya, whatever may come up in Busia, whatever may come up in Kisumu, Migori, and Homa Bay, may be to the benefit of the entire region, especially with regard to matters climate change and then environmental conservation. Those are my concerns, Bwana PS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edwin. Let's have the next question.
I don't see any other hand that has been raised. Probably you can answer that first.
Okay, so may I suggest that Honorable Kokoth and maybe Lucy Obungu or any of the people from Blue Economy can take that as we open up for maybe 2 or 3, and then we move towards a close. Thank you.
Thank you, Bwana CS. My network is very, very unstable. In fact, I've been getting access and off network severally during the presentation by my brother, Mr. Osok of VEMRIC. But I hope it will be stable so that I move very fast on what I wanted to say. Number one is that as riparian counties of Migori, Kisumu, Homa Bay, and Siaya and Busia, under the LREB umbrella, we have been working very closely to make sure that our fisheries and aquaculture regulations, and they come up being discussed at the national and at Senate level. But when we get the final document of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Bill, then the regulations that we will develop as riparian counties must speak to each other across the 5 riparian counties that share Lake Victoria. And that would include how we allow investors in the blue economy space of Lake Victoria, those who are putting up cages, those who are doing aquatic plants farming within the lake should operate within the confines of those regulations that we shall have set. We are still in the process, and as Madam PS mentioned, some of these legislative tools and documents are still being processed at different levels. Having said that, I had not concluded with the other opportunities that exist within the blue economy space. I don't know whether there will be time for me to go through them, given the time constant that we have currently. But one thing that I would want to mention is what we have done as a county government. I hope, PS, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I think you can do a very quick
Or
round.
you can give guidance. You can give guidance.
Go ahead, Keproba.
We can proceed. It's okay. I'll manage
Okay.
the time. We can proceed.
Okay, so let's maybe in terms of the specific opportunities, I think
Yes.
we've gotten a flavor of it. We will
Yes.
also have the registration information of everybody that is attending this, and then we shall then be able to send them further information, including registration information for the conference itself.
Yes.
And then I was
Yes.
hoping that you'd use the little time you have to basically
Yes.
give us some practical information on registration for the conference and for which day we are going to have the Blue Economy meeting. I don't know whether it's going to be at Luanda Kotieno, and then we can also just get some of that practical information for those who are attending. So maybe if you can use the 1 or 2 minutes you have for that instead, that could be very much appreciated.
Thank you, Bwana PS. Very well guided. I want to donate the 2 or 3 minutes that you have given me to my colleague CCM for Trade and Industrialization, Madam Grace Agola, whom I can see has joined the webinar meeting. She may help us provide the finer details, because I've not interacted very closely with the program on what will happen when during the conference. And I would not purport to have clear information on when Blue Economy team or investors will be meeting and where. I think those details could sit or could be on the desk of my colleague, who is the overall coordinator of the whole investment conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, CCM for agriculture. Do we have anybody from the Ministry of Fisheries that may want to make a last comment, and then we hand it over to the CECM for Trade for Siaya County to share a word and also to share with us any practical information insofar as when we expect to have a conversation on Blue Economy and practical information around registration of the conference. We also have questions that have been asked by lots of people that are on the chat. I think we shall do a summary of this, and then we shall send this out as well. So anybody from Ministry Blue Economy?
My name is Lucy Obungu. from the State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries. Thank you very much, PS. First, I wish to state that the CCM responded to the questions adequately, except for one, which was asked, how will cooperatives come into all these blue economy opportunities that exist currently? The State Department, in collaboration with the State Department for Cooperatives, is currently forming cooperatives. This has started mainly with the BMUs in the Lake region. I know there are other small-scale fish farmers who are engaging in cage farming, and I want to believe that we are still going on with the process. Some of the BMUs already are doing fish farming. So since we have just started this process, our aim is to eventually make them economically viable, and whatever opportunities there are, they'll be trained together with the State Department for Cooperatives to be able to benefit from the same. And before I leave the floor, PS, I've noticed that there are some questions which were put on the chat. I don't know if they'll be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy from the State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries. In the interest of time, we will not be answering those questions in this chat, but we have everybody's registration details, and we shall send out a very short note that answers the questions that have not yet been done through that, as we share registration information as well. So thank you for that. With the kind permission of all the participants, we've run out of time. I just want to check if there's a burning question from one other participant before we hand it over to a close to CECM Grace Agola, or responsible for trade. Anyone with something to say, you can raise your hand. Okay. Frederick Otieno, 30 seconds, please.
Frederick, proceed. You are unmuted. Frederick, are you there?
So Frederick, it doesn't seem to be with us. So I think in the interest of time and with appreciation for everybody, if you've not been able to answer a question, just put it on the chat right now. And our colleagues, together with the county officials, will provide some short answers, including links on registration. So I would now like to ask a CECM responsible for trade, Grace Agola, to basically tell us a bit about some practical information on the conference. Welcome.
Can I be heard? Good afternoon.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, Waziri. Just proceed.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I had to come in a little bit late due to I had a sermon with my assembly issues also to do with the work of the county. I appreciate this webinar today, and I want to talk about the SIAE International Trade and Investment Conference that is coming in few weeks, next month, 25th, 28th. And the conference is the first one for the county. And we are looking into onboarding practical investors and also showcasing the potential of the county government in terms of investment and trade. To that end, we are looking forward to working with all like-minded, both government, investors, and donors, partners, to make SIAE an economic hub. In few, I would say that we are strong. There we have some areas that we have competitive advantage. Like, for example, the blue economy, the cotton, the rice, even in the area of manufacturing, and also in the area of energy. So we have a concept on that matter, and we also want to invite participation from all quarters in form of delegation, being a delegate, and also coming over to exhibit, speakers, and others. I don't know whether I've covered some. Hello?
Yes, just proceed. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so I would say that in a bird's view, what we intend to do, it's going to be done here in CI at the stadium. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Grace Agola, the CCM for Trade. Do you have already information where those who are specifically interested in fisheries and blue economy, will there be a separate conversation for them? Will it be also at the stadium, or will it be at Luanda, Kotieno, or any other place?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, Grace, we can hear you.
It's like I'm not getting, maybe my sound system is not clear. I didn't get what you said.
If I can repeat, is there any practical information for those that are interested in the fisheries sector? Is there going to be a separate focused conversation for them? Do you already have a date for it? And is it going to be at the stadium, or is it going to be at Luanda, Kotieno, or elsewhere?
Thank you so much, PS. Before we start the conference, which is on 26th, we are going to have a pre-conference day where we are planning to have site visits for various sectors. And one of them is the blue economy, which is going to happen at Luanda, Kotieno. And we are looking forward to taking interested parties and also talking to stakeholders at that point. That will be on 25th. And this one is going to cut across, likely, we are working on 7 or 9 sectors to consider. Tourism being part of it, rice farming being part of it, oil crops, production being part of it, and also showcasing the fruit processing that we have being part of those that we are looking forward for pre-conference day on 25th. We are looking forward to making maybe some videos during that time, which we shall be edited and be used for the last day, just to showcase what exactly in live form, what CII is capable of giving the investors. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, CCM for Trade, for those details. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I would now like to bring the conversation to a close. However, before I do so, much appreciation to the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency for hosting this and also developing the profiles that are also going to be showcased during that time, together with KenInvest and a few other agencies. That is very much appreciated. I know they've been working with UNIDO as well and the county government. To Keproba, do you have everybody's registration information? And if we want to send out registration information to the people participating here for the conference, do you have that information? Can you just confirm?
Yes, we do. We can share
Okay.
this.
Okay, excellent. So maybe with the permission of the CCM, we are planning to have another pre-conference conversation on Monday. And this one would be focusing on the area of the rice value chain and commodities trading, and what are the opportunities both from the farming side and also from the rice milling side, and the associated opportunities around a commodities-driven exchange that can connect to the rice sector. We expect the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Multi-Commodities Exchange. We also expect this Chief Executive Officer of the Warehouse Receipts Council System and a few other people in that space, together with the CECs responsible for agriculture, trade, and those connected to the rice value chain. So since now we have your contacts, whenever the poster is out, we shall also send it to you. And you could tell your friends who are interested in the rice and commodities trading value chain that we shall be having this conversation on Monday. I would like to leave it there, but I would like to ask whether CECM, Grace, or CECM or Kokoth wants to close the meeting. Please proceed. Over to you, Siaya County, CCM Trade or CCM Agriculture, to just give us a close.
Waziri Grace, would you proceed and close? My colleague Waziri has a problem with network. I want to personally thank you, and thank you on behalf of the county government of Siaya for having brought us under this webinar engagement to just go through the towards the National Investment Conference that is coming up next month. We hope to mobilize more participants in our subsequent discussions, and we look forward to fruitful engagements that would lead to a successful investment conference in Siaya. And we thank everybody in this engagement for their personal and corporate support that Siaya is receiving so far. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, and with much appreciation also to the ministry responsible for fisheries and blue economy. I also am grateful to have participated. Goodbye, everybody, and we will be